But speaking of spending a ton of money, Acolyte, the original
Star
Acolyte
Wars.
series, yes,
Oh, no.
spent a ton of money. And guys, there's this new, I don't know if you've heard about it, but there's this new push online to get a second season because apparently the demand for the Acolyte is sky high, according to Collider, which is like one of the most reliable.
Please let
news
this
sources.
happen. I love job security.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, exactly.
Job security for sure.
But what's crazy about this? I want to read you this paragraph because this is just crazy to me. So, the Acolyte is showing plenty of streaming demand months after the series was canceled by Lucasfilm, according to Parrot Analytics, a very reputable,
legitimate
source. The story starring Amandla Stenberg as two different protagonists is currently listed as scoring more than 20 times the average demand seen in the current streaming landscape. This is a rare statistic obtained only by shows that become very popular with audiences after release, meaning viewers can't get enough of the Acolyte. It's been more than 6 months since Lucasfilm announced they wouldn't be moving forward with a second installment of the show. Nevertheless, audiences are still showing support for this corner of the galaxy far, far away. And then, of course, we also have this tweet by Rebecca Henderson, who voices support for a second season of the show, saying that this new report suggests demand is high. And she says, the Acolyte has been a massive hit for Disney+. It was canceled because if you know, you know, but the fans love it and we love you.
What a bunch of bullshit.
I love how she confirms everything we've heard. That is amazing. But you know what is even better yet is they're not wrong because it technically got better ratings than Daredevil.
There's some bot farm in the middle of Cambodia somewhere that's just playing this show over and over again to like up their time watch. So it's insane. So forget it.
Yeah, Dutch, you're probably not too far off, but I want to go deep into this Parrot Analytics thing, and I want to throw this to Odin because basically, Odin, this Collider article doesn't really say how the scoring is tabulated as how they come to this this determination, this 20.4 times rating. That means that there is an outstanding amount of interest in this show. And so, like, if you go to the link that's in the Collider article where they're referencing this rating, and you go down into the deeps here, they still don't explain to you how they come up with the score. But they do imply that it takes place over the course of 30 days, and it's all based around Twitter activity, right? Or X activity, or whatever you want to call it. And, Parrot Analytics famously, like, they basically monitor social media and try to figure out what people are talking about, how much engagement is happening around different, properties and stuff like that. And I think it's pretty easy to play the system if that is what people are basing their analysis.
These are the guys who kept saying Discovery was a hit
right.
Yeah, but Odin, I want to get your take on this real quick. So Collider says that Parrot Analytics is saying that Acolyte is 20 times more popular than it was when it was first airing, and that Disney should therefore give it a second season. What's your take?
Yeah, I think that in and of itself is already taking the L. It's 20 times more popular than when it was first streaming. Okay, so where in the hell were all these people when the show was actually on the air? How is it that all of a sudden now people are showing interest in this show who previously had no interest in this show? Has there actually been an increase in watches over on Disney Plus to correspond to this new interest? So unless there has been a huge increase in subscribers who are subscribing specifically to Disney Plus because they want to see this show, or people who already have it who are now starting to watch it for the first time, and there's actual evidence of that, yeah, this whole number from Parrot is absolutely ridiculous and can easily be controlled, right? There's no such thing as bot farms, apparently, according to Parrot Analytics. There's no such thing as engagement farming or anything like that where you could easily, come up with a reason as to why you're seeing these kinds of numbers. I always say the proof is in the pudding, and the pudding is not very good for the Acolyte because, hey, no one saw it, no one watched it, and it did so terribly, and this is from Disney Plus, which does not have the best numbers in the world, even by their own admission. The numbers that they give us, when you compare them to other platforms and other shows, it's pretty bad. The fact that even they were like, this did bad enough for us to not give a sequel to it, should have spoken volumes as far as how little interest there actually is in this show. And anyone who's using Parrot Analytics as your actual evidence or as your actual source to justify your argument probably needs to go back to high school and learn about research methods.
Dutch Butters, would you watch an Acolyte season 2?
Only if you made me. I only if you made me. I don't have Disney Plus anymore, or Hulu, or really any.
You've been unplussed.
I've been unplussed, and I'm not missing it. I'm not missing it at all. You haven't told me yet if we're going to be watching Andor season 2 yet, so I don't know. I don't know if
I'm not going to make you guys watch any Star Wars stuff.
So
I'll watch it. But...
I'm not planning on resubbing anytime soon. So, no.
So you're not part of that group that wants the Acolyte season 2 to come back.
No, not even remotely close. No, not at all. No, all right. I mean, it was kind of fun laughing at it once in a while, but it was no, I don't. I have no interest.
How are we going to get more Amanda Stenberg diss tracks?
I could care less if we ever saw her face on any kind of entertainment platform ever again. So
Tom,
why would people want to see her when they can see this
exactly
out there? So
Tom Connors, when I read this quote from Rebecca Henderson, who is Leslie Headland's wife, by the way. Said the Acolyte has been a massive hit for Disney Plus. It was canceled because if you know, you know, but the fans love it and we love you. Tom, what is the if you know, you know?
Well, that would be, of course, it got canceled because it was universally hated. I mean, this is kind of the problem with Parrot Analytics, right? Is that when they kept saying that Star Trek Discovery was a hit, if you do a little digging, basically what you find is that they're just, like you said, they're just going by people using the hashtag Star Trek Discovery. Doesn't matter if they're using Star Trek Discovery sucks, or I hate Star Trek Discovery. I mean, yeah, people were talking about the Acolyte a lot for a while there because it was the talk of the town. It kind of reminds me of, like we said earlier, with the whole Avengers thing where they're trying to push it like, oh, all these people paid attention for hours just to see chair reveals. It's like, yeah, nobody was literally just sitting there watching their computer for 5 hours, except for a few YouTubers. Outside of that, everybody else has lives and they didn't give a shit. And you were a meme and it's a joke. That's what the Acolyte is. It's a joke, right? Like at best, people would love to see a second season like people like me, and I'm sure Gary of Nerderotic and all the rest of y'all, because guess what? We can make more videos about how bad it is. But we all know what we know is that Disney canceled the show because it is going against everything that they're trying to do now and change their image. And the only resistance we keep hearing about over there, and this is where there may actually be some reality to this, is Kathleen Kennedy is like refusing to change course at all, is what we keep hearing. And she has some kind of controller sway that is above or beyond what Disney can do to her in certain respects because of her position at Lucasfilm and how it's separate from Disney, even though it's under the Disney umbrella. So, like, I don't know. I mean, we've gotten so many rumors and stories about how they are barricading themselves over there and they're continuing down this path, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if something were to happen, if they were to announce some kind of movie or something to try and it'll never happen. But I mean, you know what I mean? Like just to gauge fan reaction. But I think at the end of the day, they're just misinterpreting or misusing Parrot Analytics, just like Paramount Plus or CBS All Access or whatever you wanted to call it back in the day.
Yeah, I also think it's important to point out that Kathleen Kennedy did not cancel the series. That came from Disney brass.
That's my point. Yeah,
who basically looked at, it's a 20-minute show. We're spending $250 million on like 8 episodes. Like, what's going on here? But Adam, I want to read this paragraph to you. So, and this is from the Collider article. The Acolyte proved to be a streaming success when it was released last summer, but after an extensive hate campaign seen online based on the diversity of the show's cast, the industry was shocked to see Lucasfilm announcing it wouldn't move forward with a second season of the series. So can you tell us a little bit about this hate campaign that was waged against the diverse and fiercely strong Acolyte? I think you're muted, Adam. Adam,
My
I think
kung
you're
fu
muted.
is not as good as my karate, but
Still muted.
Yeah, we're still not hearing you, buddy.
Like, let's all stare at
Nope,
him.
still
make
can't
him
hear.
comfortable.
Still can't hear.
Still can't
yeah, I
hear
don't
you.
know.
That's
All
very
right.
strange.
Well, while Adam tries to fix his mic, just chime in whenever you can. I'm going to go to Brian from the podcast.
Hey now.
Brian, I feel like this is a very astroturfed movement, especially because this isn't the first time we've seen people write about, oh, the Acolyte is actually really popular and it deserves a second season. But everyone who kind of perpetuates that sentiment seems to be a paid shill of some type. So what's your take? Is there any genuineness to this, or is this all just astroturfed?
Astroturf Extreme and Parrot Analytics has the worst track record. Like remember that show Velma on Max?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Dude, Velma got like a whole new season because they said everyone loved it when it was literally the opposite. Like people were talking about how absolutely horrible it was. That was like the general consensus was this is a horrible television show. Everyone hates it. And they're like, look at everyone's talking about it. They must want another season. It's so weird. And you know, I guess they could just go by off like pure score numbers, but like if anyone does a quick search to check up on those numbers, they'll see that the general consensus is this is garbage. We're not watching any more of this. Instead, they have successfully gotten the studios to waste tons of money on stuff that people essentially hate. It's actually pretty it's pretty gangster if you think about it like in hustler terms. Like hey, yeah, just pump those bot farms out there and we'll get someone to give us $40 million to make another season of this TV show that literally everyone hates and it's super preachy. And it doesn't respect source material whatsoever. No fans love it. No new people love it. But you know what? The studio is going to pay the price. And then studios wonder why they lose money. Have you ever wondered how does a studio that has a streaming service that that millions and millions of people pay monthly for, like the fact that you can make hundreds of millions of dollars a month on command, like every month. Not when you have a good movie or a good show or whatever. No, every month there are millions of people giving you money every month. You are making hundreds of millions of dollars every single month. And somehow at the end of the year, after hundreds of millions of dollars a month, you lose money. Well, this is why. You waste it on the worst possible things. You give it to the worst possible people. You have these huge golden parachutes that only benefit the loss of money. It doesn't help customers. It doesn't help the people watching. It doesn't help your service. And you wonder why you're losing money. People go, oh, well, it's server costs. Like, dude, I ran a server farm. It's not server costs. Server costs might be a part of it, but man, it is the billions of dollars you are pouring into crap that no one wants to watch, and executives that aren't doing anything, and creatives that aren't pulling their weight. I mean, look at Netflix. Look at the amount of money they have wasted on Barack Obama and Merkel,
Meghan
whatever
Markle,
her name is,
yeah.
and like insane amounts of money just handed to people that can produce stuff that no one watches.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, oh, we lost money this year. Why do you think you lost money? Look at all the money you spent on something no one cares about.
Well, Brian, you know what's even crazier about the Acolyte is that you have people who normally are apologists for Star Wars, like Star Wars Theory. Love the guy, but he always tries to look for like the good stuff in these terrible Star Wars properties, and even he couldn't find it in the Acolyte. It was disrespectful to canon. It was dumb stuff like fire and outer space and like all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And like he couldn't even justify it. And I think a lot of Star Wars shills essentially felt the same way. And so like you had like this basically almost universal agreement that this was a bad show. right? You know, we talked last week about how Star Trek is dead, and Alex Kurtzman even admits that. I think Star Wars is on death's doorstep. I don't think it's dead quite yet, but it's stuff like this that
Dead to
Kathleen
me.
Kennedy keeps pumping out. That's very like quote unquote diverse and female centric and all this other stuff seems to be a big reason why people just aren't showing up for this stuff anymore.
Can I ask you a question, Matt? Who is Acolyte made for? How many women of color lesbians are also science fiction fans? Like,
well,
who is it made for?
Leslie Headland specifically said that it's made for people like her, the queer community.
So you have like this tiny little crossover of queer community that also like science fiction or Star Wars, right? So if you were only making it for this tiny percentage of the population, and then you have to hope that that tiny percent of the population also subscribes to your stupid streaming service, and then you wonder why there's no one watching it.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, the percentages don't work out. You're making it for a percentage of people that is so small, there's no way you could possibly make your money back on.
But they don't see
Right.
that. That's the thing, is that this community, they are in an echo chamber. They think that their community, they're gay, lesbian, all this stuff, that they think that they are like half the country, and they're not. It's just that, like I was saying earlier, they have been embraced by the political left, and they think that means that everyone is gay or lesbian or Transformers or anything else. So they believe that they can put these products out to appeal to that audience because they think the audience is bigger than what it is. And we know, all of us here, we have common sense. It's not.
And it's
You know,
not
you look
just gays, bro. It's gays and gays that like Star Wars.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the things that we're thinking. They think that lesbians and Transformers and all these people, they think that they are going to be Star Wars fans. They're not. These people do not watch. The same problem with the NFL. The NFL thinks that they can appeal to people who are anti-racist and who are gay and everything else, and they're not. Those people do not watch football. That's why
Yeah.
that they were
Well,
failing so
Ad-
much with the
Adam,
Colin Kaepernick.
I do want to point out that Kathleen Kennedy's goal has always been to bring in people who don't like or watch Star Wars and get them to like and watch Star Wars by appealing to their
Well-
identity. But I don't know if you know this or not, panel, but I used to work in Hollywood.
Oh God, here we
I
go.
tell you that in the LA and New York entertainment scene, it is quite the insular bubble. Like, you would think, hanging out with the people that these people hang out with on a regular basis, that everything that they put in the show is the stuff people actually want to see, because that's what their little kind of like bubble
Echo chamber.
Yeah, but
their echo chamber.
we're not accounting for crossover. Like, so my day job is I run a t-shirt site, and I design t-shirts and merchandise and mugs and stuff, right? And we used to do these thing called crossover parodies, where we would like mix two franchises together because it's safe. You can do that, and no one can copyright take it down because it's obviously artwork, right? So we would take Doctor Who and Star Wars and call it like Space Wizard or whatever, right? And the thing is, those things never sold. All the crossover parody t-shirts where we took two franchises and mixed together, like Supernatural and Sleepy Hollow, they never sold. You know why? Because you have to have crossover fans. People that want to buy that product have to like both those properties, which means you are reaching a smaller community. So when you are advertising only gays for your Star Wars show or whatever it is, or Star Trek, well, you are now looking for gays that like Star Wars. And I gotta be honest, I don't know none of my gay friends care about science fiction. Like, it's all drama, reality TV stuff. Doesn't work.
What you're saying is basically the equivalent as if Burger King tomorrow decided they were going to replace the Whopper with a vegetarian burger for the rest of time.
Be out of business.
Right. They're telling you what you're going to eat from now on, regardless of how you feel. And guess what's going to happen? They think that's going to bring all these vegetarians to Burger King. No, it's not. It's going to drive all your main customers away.
Yep.
And if you're lucky, you might get a small percentage small percentage of vegetarians to start eating at Burger King, but most of them are not going to because, as Brian is pointing out, they were never Burger King fans to begin with. They didn't give a fuck what the Whopper tasted like to begin with. Just like with Star Wars, these people never cared about Star Wars to begin with. So yeah, guess where Star Wars is at right now? Star Wars is at where Star Trek was at its best. At its very best. That's about where Star Wars is at, which means it's languishing compared to what it used to be.
Star Wars
Trek,
Star Wars is at the dollar cheap bin sale.
Exactly. And Star Trek is at the liquidator shop right now because guess what? Alex Kurtzman isn't wrong, but he can sit there and he can say it all day long because he's not the motherfucker who put it there. It was J.J. Abrams. Right. Now he's just sitting back pretending he's cleaning up the mess and mopping it all up. As I've been trying to tell people, Hollywood doesn't see Kurtzman and these people the way we see them. And it's the same kind of shit here. And this is why it's gone on for so long. Well, but hopefully it's about to change.
I want to throw this to Adam and get his take. So, Adam, I asked you before to tell us a little bit about this extensive hate campaign that basically sullied this wonderfully brilliant show and caused Disney to cancel it.
Well, if you know, is something istophobic phobophobes. That's what they try to claim. The fact of the matter is they can't accept the fact that their hiring process alone is what screwed them because they're hiring people based on their identity politics rather than actual skill. These people are morons. They are not capable of performing and putting out good products, and all they want to do is infiltrate their agenda into their products. So when you have the Acolyte, which I actually just watched a couple months ago when I was down in Orlando because the place I was staying at, they had Disney Plus. I don't know why they waste the money on that, but I watched the show. Was it all bad? No, I think that seeing a Wookiee Jedi was pretty cool, even though they ruined him and killed him off really early. But the show was fucking terrible. And just like we were saying, the way that Trump ran on being anti-woke, they ran this show on being woke. They promoted it as being woke. They called it the gayest Star Wars project of all time. And it was. It was terrible. They put all this agenda in there. They focused on trying to make all the feminine crap. You know, they say that the Force is female. Well, I actually have a shirt in my products that says the Force is fucked, which I get a lot of fist bumps for. It is a woke agenda project that was just fucking bad. And yeah, they can't recover from this crap. You know, at least with Star Trek, they came out Picard season 3, which just like we were saying, the first 2 seasons ruined that show. So there was a lot of people who didn't watch it. I watched it. I loved Picard season 3.
Yeah,
I wish I could pretend the rest of the fucking show didn't exist, but you still have to accept there was season 1 and season 2. But yeah, I think that the Force is fucked. Star Wars is fucked. Star Trek is fucked. Yeah, it's all garbage. Bud Light is fucked. Harley Davidson, I think at least is recovering. But yeah, all these people, they went woke and they went broke is the bottom line.
Well, guys, real quick, we have a members chat for 1 month from Mark of Reality. How do we know that demand for Acolyte 2 isn't just Disparu with several bot accounts? He gets pretty excited for Trash TV. I wouldn't be surprised if Disparu was behind the astroturfing of the Acolyte. I think that he's an evil genius in that sense.
Mm-hmm.